On this video, we're bow hunting during the early season and we accidentally spook a buck. We end up finding the same buck later in the day, and you'll just have to watch the rest of this video to see how the hunt turned out. This is a common scenario we get asked about all the time, so hopefully there are some lessons in this video that you guys can learn from. Let's get right to it.
Well, it's our second day in here. Me and Brett are going in on the ground this morning. The idea is to get out over top of one of these big bean fields and observe it right here at first light, fighting this hot, stagnant weather all week. And a cold, so that's good. The coolest time of the day, though, has been first light in the morning. Right now it's 60, 61 degrees. And yesterday morning, me and Brett saw those bucks up and moving, 20 minutes after daylight. But it's calm, it's foggy, it's hot. You can still kill them. Got skeeters bad in here. Put some of this Picardin on me here. I use that Thermacell some, but end up using this more than anything. There you go. There's some of that goop on you. Is that good bug dope here? Just saw a nice buck. I ain't seen crap all morning. Me and Brett have just been kind of slinking around, trying to glass, and we scouted these woods right here behind us. There's some beds in there and a bunch of trails. Like, man, this looks really good back here. And we were looking around for a potential tree to maybe try to get up in tonight or tomorrow. And we looked up and there was a nice buck cutting across the top of that ridge. I think we definitely spooked him. But I don't know what, he was just walking off, wasn't he? I wonder if he just heard us over here whispering. I don't think he would have smelled us.
You think he could just be getting up under that sun too?
He might be.
Just hitting over there.
He might be. But when I was looking over it, when I saw him, he was looking over here. Yeah. That's a good sign, though, if he's bedded out and that stuff. I'm sure there's more bugs back in there. Hopefully we didn't booger him up too bad. Now we gotta figure out how in the heck to hunt this. Let's go back to the car and regroup. Our wind's blowing right in there right now. Gotta keep swirling. Yeah. Yeah, this wind's just not gonna work here. Dang it. I'd say if we're gonna go to your tree, we gotta go.
Yeah, we have to go now.
Yeah. Finally set up in our option B. It's Nick's option A. He's been trying to convince me to come here all afternoon, but I was real reluctant. But we went into the spot I wanted to go to, and there's some guys doing work, and the wind was super swirly, so we backed out of there and came over to this tree here. This is the spot that Nick saw that buck the first day we were scouting,
And then Aaron and Walker were in the timber just in front of me here yesterday morning, and they saw 2 bucks go right past this tree. So it's kind of a off-the-wall spot. We're real close to a road, but there's been bucks coming past this tree pretty consistently since we've been here. So still pretty warm today, so not as good of conditions when they came by here before, but it's not to say they can't do it today. It's still pretty early in the season. They haven't been pressured much. Time you can catch them doing weird stuff in weird weather. So got a couple hours before it gets dark. We're gonna hang tight here and hopefully lay eyes on one. Hopefully get a shot, really.
It's 87 degrees out. Humid, calm, just perfect deer hunting weather. Me and Brett did see that nice buck this morning, but man, we probably wouldn't have seen him had he not been scared by us. He'd probably just laid there otherwise. We're still gonna try him tonight.
Some kind of food plot. I don't know what kind. Is that all poison ivy going up that thing? This is a thorny locust, covered in what we believe is poison ivy. So let's just climb up there and set up. Brett said, why not? That's all poison ivy.
It is?
I don't know. I was asking you.
I don't know. I think so.
But ain't like we got another option for a tree. Me and Brett are set up. We're in a really good looking spot, as you can probably tell. We got beans out here, thick bedding this direction, thick bedding this direction, and we're right at the back corner of this bean field. And then out here on the public, they got some other planting out here. I don't know what it is. It looks like young sunflowers, but the deer have just smoked it. They've hammered them all the way in. We saw browse pressure on the edge of those beans. These beans are still plenty green. I'm sure they're feeding in them at night. Back here this direction is where we saw that buck this morning, that narrow rack 10-pointer. He was right down over there, maybe 300 yards away, and he eased this direction after we bumped him. And as you could see in the footage, he wasn't trying to get the heck out of there. He was just easing off. I'm betting that he'd come over here to this line of trees somewhere. There's 2 or 3 ponds down here and all this tall grass. I bet he just posted up right there and he's been laying there ever since. That's basically why we come over here, is because we knew there was a shooter buck that went in this area, this direction. It's super warm, but it could certainly happen from up here. But we can see a really long way from this tree. It was a nightmare of a tree to get into, let me tell you. It's an old thorny locust. I've hung up in these trees half a dozen times, and every single time I do it, I say I'll never do it again. And here we sit. Had all kind of vines growing on it, looked like poison oak. Who knows? I wore my gloves. But this is the tree, this is the spot. It's either sit on the ground right here, which we wouldn't be able to see very far if we did. That's kind of the whole point of sitting up here on top of this ridge, is so we can see really far. Ideally get eyes, if we don't have a buck come by close, we'll get eyes on one at a distance, getting up out of his bedding. Sometimes you just gotta make it work, and that's what we're trying to do. I got about 20 cough drops left, and there's a good chance I go through all of them tonight. How many deer you think we'll see?
2.
2 deer, you think?
How many deer do you think we'll see?
I think we'll probably see 4 or 5 does and a spike and a forkhorn. Just time will tell.
Does he have blood on the side of his face? Oh no, it's his tongue. Probably just gonna cross right there and go to that corner. He's crossing the road now. Huh? Crossing the road. Yeah. About 7 o'clock. About 15 minutes ago, the buck Nick saw the other night popped out with another buck and 2 does. They're a couple hundred yards down the field from us, but they crossed the road and they're feeding our direction right now. We know he feels comfortable around this little pocket of trees, so hopefully he makes it our way before it gets dark, but if not, probably going to come back to the same tree in the morning and see where he goes in, and then be able to set up. Hoping he comes out the same way he went in the following evening. Still in the game. They're running. Opposite direction. Where'd they run to? Straight to like the corner of those trees. They kind of split up a little bit. There's one. There he is. He just went into that strip of timber. Both of them, they kind of like went this way and they cut back that direction a little bit. I don't think there's anything we can really do with them there. I'm surprised they ran. I thought they were just gonna like hunker down. Probably not going to come in tonight, but I think we got a pretty good plan for tomorrow. I guess that's the game you play when you hunt close to the road, but this deer are clearly used to it. Seems like something that those people do regularly.
They ain't too worried about it because, I mean, they're coming out broad daylight.
Yeah.
And just feeding.
Right.
See, they might end up working back down. Who knows? That side by side will probably end up turning around and coming back, though.
Yeah, man.
Old buck. That little buck pop out over here to the left. About 150 yards out. He's coming right up out of that bedded area where we saw that nice 10-pointer go into this morning. There's another deer coming up here. Another buck. Behind his toe. That's a nice buck. It's at 10. Pretty sure it's that same buck from this morning. Brett. Right by her. Yep. And there's the 10-pointer we saw this morning. He went about 400 yards from where we spooked him. see this morning. That doe laid down. She laid down. Got some like extra crap around his bases. I don't know what it is. I don't know, but he's coming. He's got a little bit of a limp to him. Yeah, he's limping. That's definitely the same buck that we bumped this morning. I just measured it on Onyx. He went about 450 yards. I mean, who knows where he ultimately bedded at, but that's where he popped out of that grass was 450 yards from where we bumped him this morning. And he's slowly feeding towards the tree. He's a real pretty deer. He's definitely got something messed up with his leg. Going back in. He may just be going to get a drink too. Oh, there's another deer back on the doe. Yep. It's gonna be a party up here, boy. Another deer. It's like a fawn. Yeah. What was that? There's deer to the right. Doe. 80 yards. See it? Walking across the middle. Yeah, there's another deer. Another doe. Another fawn. They're gonna pour out now, boy. Another deer coming from the right. Big buck. Big buck. Along the right side back there. I see. Well, not a huge buck, but he's bigger than that 10-pointer. Yeah. A little bit, anyway. Man, we're alive back here, Walker. We're alive.
Sounded close.
What?
Sounded like something was right to your left.
I think they smelled. Buck was probably, the 10-pointer was probably 40 yards. As soon as they run off, I've been holding in a cough for 20 minutes. I think that lead doe smelled us because she was back here. And they were slowly easing out there. It's like any minute now. If we're going to get a chance at this buck, he's going to have to hurry up. It was shaping up like it might come together. When they all started coming up here and he was in the back, I was like, wow. I kept telling myself if he gave me like a 20-yarder broadside, I'd shoot him. Yeah, I mean, as soon as she would have got downwind, she would have smelled this mentholyptus, honey lemon scent right there. I started coughing under my breath when they were right there, trying to hold it together. And about that same time is when that lead doe took off. So I don't know if she heard me coughing or smelled us. I don't know. We've seen 3 bucks so far, and I don't know, 7 or 8 does and fawns. That other buck was a pretty nice one too, like a nice 8-pointer. And I don't know what happened this 1.5-year-old buck that was back here. He disappeared. That was cool. Saw a heck of a lot more deer than we thought we was going to, with it being 87 degrees today. Jamie, never know, might have something else pop out before it gets dark. Alright. We're out of legal. That's a pretty good hunt, especially for it being this hot. Me and Walker are gonna climb down, go see what Hayden and Nick got into. Nick texted me a while ago and said they had a big one in front of them. So despite the hot weather today, we did see some bucks tonight. That breeze was blowing though pretty good earlier. We gotta climb out of here before we get ate alive. But hopefully y'all learned something there about how far away bucks go. A lot of times when you spook them, that's why we always try to scout into the wind so that they don't smell you if you bump them by sight or by sound. In our experience, they just don't go that far. Like 400 yards is pretty average. And that buck walked right out of there. I mean, if you'd have just drawn a straight line 400 yards from the spot where we spooked him, you'd have been right there within 100 yards of where he wound up bedding. It was almost like he got in that patch of brush where all them other does were at, I wonder. And he just smelled them other deer and laid down. Who knows? We're gonna climb down though before we get ate up. Good evening. Good evening. I was pessimistic starting out, but hey, almost got a buck.